Right then, guys, so it seems a while since I've been I've done a video. Nah, I ain't really been doing bait for people because I've been concentrating on the place I joined, which everybody will know by now is Ravensfield. I've done a 48-hour session on there, which resulted in one of the targets that I joined it for, and another fish which were, I think it was about 18, 20 pound, both near enough 20 pound. It's beautiful fish, old fish, really old, and I really do like the place. It's got a lovely vibe to it. The first 24-hour session I had 2 fish, and I think if I'd have carried on, I could probably have had another one, if I'd had another few, if I'd had done another day. One of the fish I had were a target that I joined for, but the second session that I did, the fish started spawning about 18 hours into. It was going to be a 48-hour session, but about 18 hours in, they started spawning in a corner near to where I was fishing. And then when I went to brought my rods in and went out to the far side to carve for some water, they were going mad down the pads down to the left at one at Bailiffs. They were going ballistics. They were spawning. They were chasing each other around and flanking and on either side at females, males waiting for her to and then release her eggs and males fertilise. They were spawning, so I left. I just packed up and I left. I left Bailiff on there. I think he had about 5 fish, but I'm not into fishing for spawning fish. It's not what I'm about, and I don't agree with it at all. So I left. But what I've been doing is I ain't been doing much bait at all, apart from the bait that I use myself. And the bait at the minute that is absolutely killing it is a Bloodworm Joker. It's an unbelievable bait. It's deadly, absolutely deadly. And I mean, I've done I did a day on the Langworth with it, and it were hard going. It were really hard going. I think I ended up with about 8 or 9 fish, and if we'd have stayed longer, we could have had more. But they were all smaller fish. I think we were about 5 days after 5 or 6 days after they finished spawning. So they would more than likely they probably were a few that are bigger fish that avoided us. I think they may have been down really in the shallow water. More than likely, oxygen, like were hot day, oxygen levels may have been low, so they were down in that bay. But they'd finished spawning. I think he said about a week. It showed me a video of it ballistic. The water, it was just like a froth with the amount of fish that spawning in there. It was good videos to watch. Nah, the bait the bait now for the going bait for me now is it's butyric acid and amino. It's without the pineapple in there, just butyric acid and amino. Sticky bait's to a version of it as well, but it's the one that I've been using. I've been fishing a lot of bottom baits. It's something that I don't often do. I ain't really fished it. I went out with one of the lads that I know, or 2 lads, Steve Lewis and another guy called Simon Ellis. And Simon Ellis were fishing bottom baits at Langworth, and he fucking slaughtered it. He really slaughtered it. He had a good few fish on his own bait as well. You know what I mean? He did really, really well, and he kind of showed me a way that. I mean, I would never fish a pop-up at one point. I thought they were just too artificial. It was too artificial, a bait off the deck. I always thought the fish will suss it, and I'm talking here probably 25 years ago, to when boilies very first, 25, 30 years ago, when I very first started using boilies. So I never used pop-ups back then. It were all bottom bait fishing, and with success you were having, I thought, bottom baits, but then my mind was saying no, it's got to have a little element of lightness to it. And I had some butyric acid and amino wafters that I'd rolled in yellow. So I put one of them on, and they sat absolutely beautiful with I got the gardener hooks, and they sat lovely. They just sunk perfectly, and I just had a little shot to him, so it just wafted just above, probably the height of a swivel, just above the hook, and every single fish coming on. It just didn't want pop-ups. They just didn't want pop-ups that day. But the bait that I'm really doing well with now. Well, it's a funny one because it's two baits. They seem to have like a yin and a yang kind of shit. You know, it's bloodworm and joker and pineapple and butyric acid as feed, but just butyric acid and amino as hook baits, and it's proving to be absolutely deadly, to the point that I took Steve Lewis a bag of bloodworm boilies up, and I give him probably about a quarter of a kilo, half a kilo of pineapple and butyric acid that I had left, and he fished with him, and he's had some banging fish, all 20s, all big fish, all at a pond near to him where I'm going on Monday. So you'll see results from there. Now this is for that. Now it's a 6-egg mix, and they're gonna be bottom baits, but I'm gonna pour a slight little bit of the egg into a separate container, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of coke dust to them, not to make them into wafters, but just so they're slightly lighter than the bottom baits. They're still gonna, if you drop one in, it'll sink, but it'll sink really slow. It's not going to be hovering above hook or anything. It's going to be a bottom bait that's lighter than the other baits. It's to the point that I watched them a lot over this bloodworm, and they absolutely love the stuff. Honestly, it's a bait that I used to buy, and a bait that I were only ever really confident in using, and it was Sticky Bait's bloodworm years ago when they very first brought it out, and it's a different animal to what it is now. I think the levels that Sticky Baits used back then were definitely higher than they are now, because I've used it since, and it's not the same. It ain't the same. Now the amount of bloodworm that's in this is unbelievable. There's probably as much bloodworm in this 6-egg mix as what there would be in a 12-egg mix from a bigger company. They couldn't afford to do it at this levels. Now it's the amount of bloodworm in it is unbelievable. It's two different kinds of bloodworm. You can see the bloodworms there on fork. Oh, bloodworm. And then it's the blitz. This red liquid is just the same bloodworm, just blitzed. Now the joker is also blitzed, but you'll be able to see it more when I roll them. There's they leave it like a white fleck in the baits, and I've done really well on it. Now the other thing as well is I've noticed that it works better with a little bit of crayfish in there as well, a little bit of crayfish powder in there. Just a touch crayfish meat, just to drop just a bit in it, probably a spoonful into a 12-egg mix. It definitely makes a difference. I've tried it with that, and it's been really successful. I've had like 4 or 5 fish, but with that crayfish, it's a confidence thing with me. If there's crayfish in the water, you've got the signals of joker, bloodworm, and you've also got the signals from crayfish. It's so those food items to me are at the top end that a carb love. They just love the stuff, and it's not only that. It's about the levels of food that you're putting in the baits for the fish. But the crayfish meat I can't put into the hook baits. I put that into the feed, because if I add the crayfish meat into the hook baits, then I have to cure them in rock salt. Otherwise, the bait goes off too fast. Now it's and I have you do get away with it in hook baits, but you have to cure the baits, and it takes time to do it. Now I've had a hell of a lot of people today. I've just got back off holiday, and I've had a hell of a lot of people today ask me over bait. Now I've said it before a million times, It's the reason I've stopped doing bait is for this reason. I cannot keep up with the demand that people wanted. Is that it's and I'm not gonna go to the point of asking another company to roll me bait for me. It's gonna cost a fair bit for them to roll it, and then that means that price is going to have to be passed over, and it defeats everything that the bait was about for me. The bait was about giving people an high quality bait at a good price, instead of everybody having to pay well over the odds for everything. It's not what I'm about. I'm not about that. It's about giving people a good bait that they're going to catch on. So, but I am definitely going to start rolling bait again, so keep your eye out for that, guys. But this one, I will be doing a video with this one. I've just ordered a load more stuff so I can start again. But it's, at the minute, the freezer's absolutely jammed full of particles, and I mean jammed of particles. Reason of, there's probably about 20 odd kilo a particle, probably more than that. So it's mainly because particles are so effective on Ravensfield. It's a silty place, and I like them little. When I say particles, I don't mean a pigeon conditioner. I mean hemp and cone. And when the hemp sinks, it sinks to the bottom of the pit, and I know when them fish are on it, because it just smokes up, and it's been so effective for me so far, along with micro pellet and the bloodworm that I'm doing. So I will start doing videos again, so keep your eyes out for that one. Check you later.